welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today I'm going to be doing my book haul from my trip to Boston. So this is a totally different thing from like a November book haul. I already have a first part of my November book haul, which will be posted either soon or has been. Either way, it'll be linked when it is finally up. But I want to talk to you guys about the books that I picked up in Boston. Now, I had a really lovely time with Amanda Center. She is now somebody who I officially know is a friend. I think of her as a fond friend and a close friend. She is so genuine, so wonderful. If you're not already subscribed to her, I'll be sort of surprised because I think a lot of you come from her channel, but I'm absolutely 100% down. Anyone who wants to go join her channel will be linked. So Amanda and I had a really lovely 4 or 5 days. So I picked her up on Saturday and we hung out in the main area, picked up a few books there. Do I have those in this pile? I think I kept those in my part 1 November book haul. So we hung out in the Portland area for that day and we picked up a few books. I put those into my last book haul. This is purely all my Boston trip. So then we hung out in my hometown, which was really quiet and soft and gentle sort of thing. And then we ended up driving down to Boston together. We had already planned to do a literacy walk, which is basically walking through Boston and picking up items from different bookshops. And just I think we went to like 5 bookshops in the Boston area, which was really good. We hit everything on the map except for Paper Cuts, which I was really bummed about, but it wasn't mine or Amanda's fault. It was a lot of different things, including driving, and the election really kind of set a weird tone for the last day. And oh my goodness, I apologize from the bottom of my heart for poor Amanda, because while you guys got to see like a snippet of a minute, she got to deal with that most of the day. And I really felt so bad and so genuinely guilty that I was in such a state. But she was so supportive and so wonderful. Guys, really, if you're not supporting her already, go do so. She is a wonderful human being. This is my book haul from the Boston trip. I will begin now. So first, I picked up this. Now, you guys have seen me haul this before. This is Jesus' Son by Janice Johnson. It's a Pick It or Romana classic, but if you remember correctly, I picked it up from a used Amazon, and it came in terrible condition, so I sold it, and then I picked it up again in a different used bookstore in the Boston area, and it was a little more expensive, but it's in perfect condition, so I'm super happy about that. This is just gonna get weird now. Chaos. This, I know that one of my subbies, one of my friends, she actually asked me about this one because I posted a picture of it on Instagram. It is from Pulp, the Classics. This is the Alice in Wonderland edition from Pulp, and it's just super fun, and it has all the original art, and then it has little green edges. Then when I arrived home, now this is kind of a random throw in there, one of my subscribers, Ashley, was kind enough to send me a birthday gift, and this is Dog Shaming by Pascal Lemire, and I think it's just doggies. Thank you so much, Ashley. It really means a lot to me, and it really brightened my day because it was what I came home to. It was a really nice experience. This is another Alice in Wonderland edition. I got 3 while I was down there. This is illustrated by Elizabeth Zwerger, and I fell in love with the art style when I saw this. I couldn't help but grab this because it was so different and so random, and I loved it. So pretty and cute, and it does have its naked hardback is the same as the cover, which I always love that. When a naked hardback looks as pretty, it's all good. Then we have this. This is Nikos Kazantzakis, and this is Zorba the Greek. Now, Zorba is a story about love and life and family and trying to live your life every day, one day at a time. I grew up on the music from the musical Zorba, but I never read the book. And my mother was always a big lover of the story, and so I know the story and I understand it, but I've never read it, so I'm very excited to do so. And I kept seeing it in editions, but nothing wonderful, so this makes me very happy. And this takes place in Greece, so all for it. And then we have this. I found this randomly. This is It's Hard to Be Hip Over 30 by Judith Verest. And this actually, so first of all, it actually had the bookmark that comes with it, which was so exciting. And it was only $9. And then it is poetry. It was one I'd never heard of, but I'm so happy to have it. It's number 12. And then we got, ow, my shoulder. This one, so I saw this in the bookshop and I had no idea what it was about. I picked it up and it says it is from an author who is from Croatia. It looks like it's going to be a slow story, more about the characters than about the story itself, which I really enjoy. I'm very excited to read this because I've never heard about it, and this is Adios Cowboy by Savicki. Olgia Savicki. I really wish that I still had one of my old classmates around because she was from Croatia and I'd love to know how to pronounce that properly, but that's fine. So that one I'm really excited about. I don't really know much about it and I've never heard of it, never seen it anywhere, so super all for it. This is All My Puny Sorrows. This is by Miriam Toews. This is a story of a woman whose sister is contemplating suicide and she has to try and help her cope and figure out what she plans to do about the suicide. Fun end papers. So I went to, this one was Brookline Booksmith, and actually the exact same edition was upstairs and it was new and it was $16.50. And then I came downstairs and I found a used copy for $8 and I was like, that's a hard decision. No, it's not. And then we have this. This is You Can't Touch My Hair by Phoebe Rubb. This was a gift from Miss Amanda. First of all, she bought me a book to replace Stories of Ibis because I read it with her and I purchased it full price and I hated it, so she felt guilty. I don't know why, but I'm gonna not fight her on that. So she picked 2 books for me. I think the other one was a birthday gift. I'm not gonna really jump to conclusions on that. She had it in her mind that she owed me 2 books. I never say no to books. This one she purchased me because I hadn't read it and it's one of her favorite. This is in the Willow, and it's by Kenneth Grahame. And I'm very excited to read this because she loves it and it matches my Matilda edition. So yes, and she picked it up for me, 1, because it's one of her favorites, and 2, because Kaij Johnson, who wrote The Mouth of the River of Bees, which is her all-time favorite short story collection, I believe, right now, has a kind of loose sequel coming out to it soon in 2017. So she wants me to be prepared. So I'm very happy about that. And it does have a little description from her, which I love. I really like that kind of thing. This was the other book she picked up for me, and she picked this one up for me because I received this book. I purchased it and I didn't like the condition it came in. It felt a little too damaged for me. And so she ended up picking it up for me. This is Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I'm going to try Sarah Waters again. I hear this story's a little more my style. We'll see. I like Tipping the Velvet. I like Sarah Waters' writing, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited though. And then we have this. This is Scrappier. This is by Matt Bell. This is one that I haven't heard of, and it's a dystopian story that he wrote, which is based around Detroit, and it's based around the Detroit area in a place called The Zone, which is really, really interesting. So I'm very, very, very excited to read this and see how it goes, because I have not read, but one of my alters read Matt Bell's In the House Upon the Dirt Between the Lake and the Woods. Yes. And they liked it. And I really want to get into Matt Bell's writing since they liked it and see how it goes. So that's that. And then we went to a poetry store and I picked up 3 poetry books. The first one being, I asked about mental illness and madness, and the first one that the person recommended was Sarita 7, and it's by Lo Gallico, and this is, I believe, just she has mental illness, so this is just her writings. And I always am curious to see how a person with mental illness translates into writing. Then this one is Snake at the Wrist by Margaret Kaufman. This one, she said, is just really dark and morbid and a little maddening and crazy. So I'm all for that. And then this one is Poems of Paul Cullen. And he is a man who ended up committing suicide after his family was killed by the Nazis. I will qualify that as madness, and it's translated from the Germanic. Next, I picked up this. Yes means yes, Visions of the Female Sexual Power in a World Without Rape, and it's by Jacqueline Friedman and Jessica Valenti. Jessica Valenti wrote Sex Object, which I loved the writing style of. So this I'm highly excited about. It looks like there's a lot more discussion in here as well about consent and sexual choices and women's bodies. I'm really excited to get into this. This is going to be darker, I know, than Sex Objects, even though Sex Objects was pretty dark. Then I found something that made me very happy. Actually, rather, Miss Amanda found it. This is My Name is Leon by Kit DeWall, and this is actually, and the reason she didn't take it is because it's a hardcover and she's trying to control her TBI. This is a book that I've heard everybody talking about a child who is in the foster system, and he is mixed and his brother is white, and the choices that come out of the people that he's around, and his mother's mental illness and all of these other things. So it was already on my list, and I was very happy to find it in a used bookstore in the hardcover edition for $10. I can't complain. And then there's this. Now this one was really interesting. I randomly saw it and I just grabbed it off the shelf. I didn't think twice because it looked so interesting. This is by Deirdre Kelly. This is Ballerina, Sex, Scandal, and Suffering Behind the Symbol of Perfection. I love one of my all-time favorite movies is Black Swan with Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis, and it is the discussion of the story of the Black Swan. One of my favorite books is The Crane's Dance. I love the idea of ballerinas and what they stand for and their perfection, but I know that there's a really dark side to ballet. I did ballet for years. My body doesn't look like it no more, but I did. And I always felt really pressured and stressed because I wasn't one of the small girls in the ballet class, and I really want to go dive into that a little deeper and kind of take it to a new level of adulthood. So I'm so stoked about this. This will probably get put into Nonfiction November TBR. Not gonna lie. This second to last book is another Alice in Wonderland. This one was illustrated. It's 150th anniversary edition, and it's by Salvador Dali. I had been considering this one for a while, but it was mad expensive, and then I found it used for $12. So I had no problem picking that up. Now the last one has a story. I was in a bookshop. I can't remember which one now. I think it was Where We Got Breakfast. And I was walking around in a daze. It was the day after the election, and I was so in the mood for retail therapy. And I didn't know what to do. And I was wandering around the bookshop, and I ran into this woman, and she was holding this book, The Regulars by Georgia Clark. And I've wanted to read it for a while. I requested it, didn't get the review. It's totally fine. I don't mind. So I started chatting with her about everything about the book, because I was like, oh, I really want to read that. And she was like, have you heard good things? And I was like, yes. And we just chatted for a minute, and we had a really lovely exchange where I felt like there was still hope for humanity, because if you can meet a random person in a bookshop and still discuss ideas and still discuss reading and still discuss emotions with a complete stranger, there's so much hope for humanity. So I bought this book and I gave it to her. Because she had given it to me. It had been in her hands and she had said she'd wanted to read it, and then she picked a different book. And she gave it to me because it was the only copy. And I knew I was going to go to another bookshop after that, so I didn't need it. And she was so hurt, like I was, about the election. And she and I had both had the same experience of going to sleep the night before and feeling hope that Hillary was still going to win. And we woke up to what we considered the worst thing to wake up to in that moment. And she needed something, and I needed something, and what I needed was an exchange of goodness, and I knew I could give that, and so I did. And that's what I spent the rest of the day doing, was just kind things. And it was selfish of me to do as many kind things as I did, because it was for me. I did it for them as well, but it was just the right thing to do. And she needed something. She needed something kind, and so I gave her the book. I bought it for her, and then I gave her the book, and then I bought myself a copy after. So I bought this book twice, and I don't mind. I don't mind at all. It was, like I said, it was the right thing to do. And I'm very happy I did it, and this book will never leave my shelf no matter what the rating, because it now has that story behind it. And I think that that day I needed something like that. So instead of being the day that Donald Trump's win was announced and I lost faith in humanity, it was the day that I really saw a beautiful side of humanity, and I'm happy with that. So that is my book haul from Boston. I'm done with my ramblings. I will see you tomorrow, and I'll talk to you soon.